Welcome back. I'm Antoinette, your psychotherapist in private practice, and I'm here to teach you how you too can have your own private practice. In this video, we will be discussing insurance panels and why you should get credentialed with an insurance company. So, this partly ties into your purpose of going into private practice. My purpose of going into private practice was I wanted more independence, more autonomy, and I wanted to reach the audience that I wanted to reach. And that audience is seniors or adults that are homebound. And so what I did was I quit a full-time job paying about 70 grand a year, which isn't the highest, but also not the lowest. I would say I was living a pretty comfortable life. But because I had been purpose-driven to do this, I had to figure out the best way to go out and get the knowledge that I needed because I couldn't find it anywhere. Hence me making these videos to give it to people who are also in that same position where you're afraid to step out because you have no idea how to start, where to begin. So what I did was I went and took a job at an agency practicing psychotherapy with the population that I wanted to practice with. And again, it was cool. It was comfortable. I took a pay cut, but I took the pay cut knowing that I was doing what I was passionate about and what I was driven to do. And I started to get comfortable. And then I realized, like, wait a minute, what are they getting paid for me to provide this service? Because I was only getting paid probably a third of what I found out insurance companies were paying. Also, with taking insurance companies, there are those who want to serve maybe teenagers or young children or struggling families. And those aren't people who are likely to have the abilities to pay privately for your services. Yes, there are therapists that are getting paid privately and they're charging $250 to $75, $300 for a 1 hour session. That's great. You know, they don't have to work very much at all. But if you are dedicated to only private pay, then you really can't reach those that may live right in your community who have insurance, either private insurance or state-funded insurance. So is it fair that they too don't have the option to have the best therapist that has, a kind heart, passion, and understand where it is that they come from because you have walked the walk that they're walking or you understand their personal experiences? You would be the best person to provide therapy to them, not someone that comes from a totally different neighborhood, a totally different socioeconomic atmosphere. So this is why I encourage all of you to get on insurance panels. How do you do that? What you first have to do is create what's called a CAQH Proview account. This is a free account. And what this account does is it houses all of your information. You upload your degrees on there. You pretty much put in your resume on there. You put on there what demographic you want to serve, so on and so forth. But it's a one-stop place for insurance companies to check you out and verify and validate the information that you're going to later have to send to them. So once you have all the other things I spoke about, the tax ID number, the NPI number, NPI2 number, if you're going to have a separate name for your private practice than yourself, you house all of this information in your CAQH account. And when you start credentialing, what's called credentialing with the insurance panels, they're going to look to that CAQH account to verify your information is valid and you are who you say you are. What the credentialing process is, you can pay for an agency to actually do it for you, because when it comes to like Medicare and Medicaid, it's a very tedious process, a lot of back and forth and things like that. Credentialing is also time sensitive. If your credentialing agent sends you an email, you have to respond to that email within 2 to 3 days. And if you don't have the ability or time to check your email frequently to make sure you have the time to get back to them, then you miss your window of opportunity to get credentialed. That's extremely important because insurances aren't just always open to accepting new providers. They have windows maybe 3 months out the year where they might be accepting new providers depending on what services you're offering, what your niche is, and what population you're serving, because they may only be looking for providers to serve children, or they may only be looking for providers to serve adults or at-risk youth. So the window will be open for people with those credentials and that background. So once you get credentialed initially, like I said, for me, I paid to get credentialed initially because I was working full time and I know I didn't have the time to really sit and watch my email. I'm terrible at checking my emails. So I did pay for a company to panel me with my first 3 insurance companies. After that, I said, well, let me see just how intensive this is, and maybe this is something I can do for myself. And I did. I credentialed myself with 2 additional insurance companies. What you do is you go to the insurance company's website and you go to or scroll to the bottom, or sometimes they'll have a tab at the top that says provider, and it'll say how to become a provider or how to get credentialed. And you go into that area, you open it up, you fill in all of the information. Now, they may take 3 to 6 weeks to get back to you. But like I said, when they get back to you, you have to respond to them within 3 days to make sure you get on that panel in a timely manner, and it can take 3 to 6 months to get credentialed. But I promise you, if you want to serve a population that is underserved because they cannot afford to pay privately, please get credentialed with insurance companies once you're set up and ready to start taking clients. Insurance companies, the highest pay I've seen was $118 for a 60-minute session, and the lowest I saw was $76 for a 60-minute session. And it runs the gamut in between there. More of the big name companies, I don't know what's big name in your area, but I know my area, Aetna, Horizon, Cigna, are like the big ones in this area. I live in a tri-state area. And some of the smaller companies will pay closer to the $76 an hour. But ask yourself the question, do you have a job where you're getting paid $76 an hour? What's the highest rate you can expect to get paid in a position that you're in if you stayed there for 10 more years? Are you going to make it to $118 an hour? As a behavioral health clinician, not likely. So it may be worth looking into starting your own practice on the weekends, because you don't have to start it outright like you just quit your job and start your private practice. That's not realistic. I quit my full-time job and then I went and worked for an agency. And as I was working for that agency, I started to put my things into place and started taking my clients in between the agency's clients. And then I just slowly, phased out of the agency. I still work for the agency as a clinical director, so I was able to elevate to another position, but again, the pay did not elevate. So that's when I knew, okay, I'm being pushed out of my comfort zone so that I can do my absolute greatest and achieve my maximum potential. And that was private practice for me. So if you are thinking like, maybe I won't ever make $118 here, but listen, I can make it for myself working in my private practice, and I only have to work like 30 hours a week. I think that's a good, trade-off. Now, I will say that it isn't all, roses. You do have some days where you might work a little bit more because you got to keep up with your own paperwork. That's another video. It's not that difficult. And also you have to build your clientele, you have to market yourself, and you have to pay for your own health insurance. This line of business doesn't come with health insurance, and so you will have to do some searching for health insurance. But again, it is affordable, it is possible. And also you get to reach the audience you want to reach. If you want to reach the children, if you live in a not so posh neighborhood and you want to be able to serve that environment and those people, then it's best for you to get with the insurance companies. I can't speak to what Medicaid pays because I've never been on that panel because I work with adults that they're likely not to have Medicaid, but they mostly have Medicare and they have other secondary insurances, which brings me to the next point. If you are credentialed with Medicare, and you're also credentialed with a lot of the other insurances like the Horizons, the Aetnas, and the Cignas that manage the Medicare people insurance plans, then you get paid 100% of whatever it is that Medicare allows you to charge. But if you're only in network with Medicare and not with some of the other insurance companies, not all of them, just some, you may not you may not get reimbursed for the full amount that Medicare is paying. Excuse me, getting caught up on my words. So I hope that's enough to inspire you to get on insurance panels. I will go into further details about this on my blog. I know videos need to be kept short because we all have short attention spans. We have somewhere to go and something to do. This is something we can listen to while we're catching a bus or driving from one place to the next. But reading is something we can do when we have a little bit more time to sit with our thoughts. So again, please subscribe, like, and comment. If you have any more questions, I will get back to you, or you can just check out the blog to see if you can get your question answered there. But thank you for your support and keep planning for private practice.